The 2025 season for the Halos has been a grind. Just ask Mike Trout.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Mike Trout hit his 400th career home run over the weekend, but he's not celebrating, and we're going to tell you why. And if you need more evidence that Ray Montgomery has really lost this team, just have a conversation with Yusei Kikuchi. And Logan O'Hoppe is Logan O'Hopeful for 2026 because he plans on doing one thing. But before we talk about our Angels, let's thank our sponsor, FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5. And if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today.
Thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
It's our fourth season talking Angels baseball with you Monday through Friday, every single weekday. We're here for you to commiserate, to look ahead, to celebrate, all those things, and we're getting into some good conversations on today's show. Want to give a shout out to Paul Holden of Locked On Rockies for taking the reins and doing that crossover with us. Mike, everybody says that he and I look like brothers more than you and I do, and I agree with that fact.
Yeah, well, I mean, since you're adopted, it kind of makes sense. So. Hey, John, let's talk about Mike Trout, who had his 400th career home run over the weekend. John's not adopted, by the way. It came in a 3-0 victory, the only victory the Angels got against the Rockies this weekend, which was just a terrible weekend for us. Great for Paul and the Rockies. The homer came on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. John, he launched it 485 feet. Yeah. Was the longest homer of the season and the third longest of his career. Trout said, finally, put a good swing on one. I barreled it. This year has been the best year in games played for Mike Trout, 125, since 2019, but his numbers just haven't been there. He's hitting currently 229 with a 7.72 OPS and 22 home runs this season. There's always that conversation, man. If Trout just stays in the lineup, then maybe he'll help this team. But so far this year, that narrative has gone out the window. Getting his 400th home run, according to Trout, was really tough. He said, man, you get humbled a little bit when you go out there, you feel like yourself, and you want to have so much success, but then you go through some rough stretches. So that's what I've been going through. I've been battling with stuff, and it's finally good to get this done, get the milestone, because it's definitely one of the things that was on my list coming in. Now, John, you and I have discussed on this show that Trout's swing just isn't right. And he even said that he's had a problem with the mechanics of his swing this year, causing him to move his head a little bit too much. It prevented him from seeing the ball as well as he should. And Trout said about that we've grinded this year. It got to the point where when I was in the cage, it felt right. But then I'd go out on the field and it didn't feel right and just wasn't seeing the ball. Obviously, with the chase and the strikeouts, which the percentages are ridiculous right now for Trout, very un-Trout-like this season. He said it was really tough for me to go into the box and not be able to see the ball. Now, something that I thought was really interesting was what happened after the game, John. Mm-hmm. In the locker room, there was a video of Mike Trout talking to his teammates, and he got really choked up. Yeah. And got really emotional. And he repeated some of what he told the media. He struggled, been a grind, it's been tough, those types of things. But I'd love your thoughts on where you think that emotion for Trout came from. Do you think it's because he's been struggling? Do you think it's because he's been hurt so much? He's finally playing in more games this year than he has since 2019. What's going on in Mike Trout's mind, if you had to guess?
Yeah, I think Mike Trout wants to contribute to the team. And I think Mike Trout knows that his body is working against him. And in fact, we had a lot of everydayers suggest that in our comments on YouTube of just, hey, you can't argue with your body. And when your body is actively fighting against you and the things that you know that you can do, the things that you know that you can be, and you just can't get there, that's tough, right? Yeah. And so Mike hasn't been able to contribute the way that he wants to this season. Mike, there's a lot of regret, I'm sure, for the last 5 years that he hasn't been able to play fully healthy. Remember when he got hurt last time? Emotion, the same kind of emotion he shared in the locker room after his 400th home run. And so I guess where it comes from is the fact that it has been tough. It has been a struggle. It has been difficult to have your body betray you in a way. And that's kind of a fact of life we all have to understand at some point, where you learn to take better care of yourself, especially in your 30s, like Mike Trout is in now. At the same time, when you're the most elite player on the field, and you had been for the first 12 years of your career, right? That's saying something when you go from that to your body betraying you. So I think, once again, that emotional moment endeared Trout to at least me. I'm not going to speak on behalf of fans or everydayers, but the fact is it's not the first time we've seen that emotion out of Trout. We've seen the disappointment. We've seen the struggle. And the fact is, at the end of the day, it shows me that he cares. And so to say where that emotion comes from, he cares.
Yeah.
He cares about the team. He cares about being there for his teammates. He cares about putting up good numbers and having success, because that means that the team has success as well. So with that said, I'm just glad to see that, like, you know, Trout could easily go through these struggles and be like, well, this sucks. I'm over this. I'm done.
Yeah.
He showed the emotion that he cares, which is a lot more than we could say for, you know, somebody like Anthony Rendon, right?
Yeah. And two thoughts on that. One, I think you really nailed it when it comes to the emotion in your body letting you down, because when Trout has been hurt, it's been kind of fluke injuries, right? Like the hamate bone and the knee stuff and other things. And when he's come back, he hasn't been bad. I mean, think back a couple of years ago, he hit 40 home runs in 119 games.
Right.
And so he had still had a lot of power, still was a threat in the lineup. But this year is the first time that we've seen Trout come back and not be Trout-like. And I'm sure that that's really frustrating for him. He's doing all the right things, but then goes out on the field and something's not working and can't see the ball. The mechanics of the swing is bad. And so that probably is frustrating to him, because he's like, how come I can't just click back into this? How come it's not just coming back to me like it was when I was younger? So I understand the emotion. The other piece of this, John, and it was just a spark of thought for me, is I find it fascinating that somebody like Mike Trout has been on this team for as long as he's been on this team. And the tears and the emotion and the passion and that he cares, it just doesn't seem like it's overflowed to anybody else. He's been around for this long, but there's nobody else like him. I would say until recently with Zach Neto and Logan O'Hoppe and Nolan Shonowell, but really those guys have that kind of makeup. They have a Trout-like kind of makeup, but the people around Trout, it doesn't seem like they have learned from him. They have adopted his mentality, that they are following his lead, that they're passionate, that they're excited, that they're hustling, that they're gritty, right? I mean, Luis Rengifo has just been lazy this year. Taylor Ward gets critiqued for not hustling, and he's done that his entire career. Anthony Rendon has just been a cancer on this team.
Yeah.
And so Mike Trout is a good dude. You can tell he's a good human. He's also a great baseball player who has all of the intangibles, but something has not translated to this team on the field or even in this clubhouse. I find that fascinating, because it works against everything, like a John Maxwell would say, right? Works against everything that they would say leaders have. Leaders inspire and they encourage and they motivate, but you just haven't seen that happen outside of Mike Trout's bubble. Yeah. And is that because he doesn't work with players? I don't think that that's true. I think that he does work with players. Is it because he doesn't spend time helping other teammates develop? I don't think that that's true, because we've seen that and heard that when he's not around. When he got hurt last year, remember Neto had the Mike Trout shirt on. It seems like they like him a lot. Yeah. But again, that's Neto, right? Somebody who's new to this team. It feels like the people that have been surrounded Trout have come in and they've been lulled to sleep by this organization. And Mike Trout has not had enough power, influence to be able to help them get out of the sleep, get out of the lull, to be an effective teammate for him. I find that fascinating, John.
Yeah, I think that it has a lot to do with Trout himself, in the sense that, you know, Trout grew up around guys like Torrey Hunter and Albert Pujols, both managerial candidates possibly, right? He grew up around those kind of players. At the same time, Mike, I don't know if he kind of has that gene in his body, right? I think that has something to do with it. Maybe he doesn't have that personality type. Like you said, he's done all the things that we've seen him do, right? Yeah. Neto gets hurt. Who's the guy comforting him on the bench? It's Trout, right? So he's shown those qualities. He's shown those leadership moments. But I also think that, you know, I said this a lot on MLB Game Night about the Guardians this season. As Jose Ramirez goes, so goes the rest of the team. And with Mike Trout, I think as Mike Trout goes, so goes the rest of the team. But when you're not being Trout, whether that's having the longest season you've had in 5 years, and still not putting up great numbers, or maybe you are putting up great numbers, but you only played 42 games, or you only played 20 something games. The fact that he couldn't be there, he's with the team, he's among them, he's doing that. But there's something to be said about the fact that, like, when Trout's feeling good, then I think everybody else feels good too. And so when he can't be on the field, like he hasn't been the last couple of years, to do Trout things on the field, then I don't think it's contagious, right? And then this year, having the amount of games that he's had, but not doing very well, that means that Trout hasn't been contagious. And so again, I think as Trout goes, so goes the rest of the team.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be really crucial going into next season. Honestly, if this team's going to go anywhere, it's going to begin with Trout and end with his influence of, like, just doing awesome things and winning and helping this team. It's going to extend to the rest of the players too.
Yeah. Now, here's the impressive stats about Mike Trout. Became the 59th player in MLB history to reach the 400 homer milestone, the third player to hit number 400 while wearing an Angels uniform. Dave Winfield and Vlad Guerrero did that. Trout's the fifth player all time to have 400 home runs, 200 stolen bases by his age 33 season, joining Willie Mays, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, and Alex Rodriguez. And only one of those guys didn't use steroids.
Right.
I
was just going to say.
Yeah, and then I love this tweet from Jared Timms from Talking Halos. Ken Griffey Jr. in his first 1,540 games had a slash line of 298, batting average of 379 on base, and a 568 slugging, 320 doubles, 30 triples, 400 home runs, 1,066 runs, 1,160 RBIs, and 167 stolen bases. Trout, in his first 1,642 games, 294, 407, 569, 324 doubles, 55 triples, 400 home runs, 1,013 runs scored, 1,065 RBIs, 214 stolen bases. Those numbers remind you of who he is and what he's accomplished, but it also reminds you of what happens to somebody if they're not able to play every season and if they get hurt a lot. And Mike Trout is the Angels version of Ken Griffey Jr.
Right.
He has gotten hurt a lot. And Ken Griffey Jr., man, that guy was phenomenal, incredible, whatever word you want to throw at him. And then when he got hurt, he had one good season in Cincinnati and really wasn't the same after that. And Mike Trout's kind of getting into those older years in the 30s, and he's following the same path as Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah. And so, again, Father Time is undefeated. And Trout, I think he's just got to learn how to be a different ball player, Mike. Whether that's, full-time DH like he tried this season. Obviously, the mechanical stuff at the plate needs to change. I don't know if that's a coaching issue. I tend to think that it probably is, right? And so I think that that's an area that needs to be addressed as well. If you can't get Mike Trout right, then who can you get right? And so that's a big question on my mind as well. So I think he's at a crossroads in terms of, all right, what's the rest of my career going to look like? What am I going to do differently? What can I do to get good again? And I hope that he takes some time to think about that over the offseason. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Coming up, Yusei Kikuchi didn't give a very political answer about how he felt getting pulled from the mound the other day, while Ray Montgomery gave the most political answer, team-friendly answer that you could ask for. And we're going to talk about all of that and what it means coming right up.
Everydayers, if you haven't yet, you got to give Nutrafol a closer look. It's the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. Whether you're at work or out with friends, or maybe you're just getting ready for the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine. And it's a simple add to your day. Just take 4 pills with your meal. No prescriptions needed, and you can feel good knowing that Nutrafol is NSF certified and backed by peer-reviewed studies. You can see thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. And for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our everydayers of Locked On Angels $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB.
This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Check us out wherever you listen to podcasts. And of course, whether you're watching or listening, coming over to today's show on YouTube, get part of the conversation. We'd love to hear from you there. Leaving a comment, liking, and subscribing helps out our channel, helps put us in front of other Angel fans who might not know about Locked On Angels, and it helps Mike and I out directly. So hit us up on social media as well, at Locked On Angels, at Super Halo Bros. Let us know your thoughts on the discussions from today's show.
John, after his start last Thursday, we heard that Yusei Kikuchi was really frustrated when he got taken out of the game early. Now, Locked On Hall of Famer Taylor Blake Ward tweeted, Kikuchi was frustrated that he was taken out of the game in the 6th inning. He said, all year I've been grinding for this team. So in that spot, I wanted to be trusted a little bit more and felt like I wasn't trusted in that moment. So he left with 2 outs and a 1-run lead. Jose Fermin comes in and he gives up the tying run. So Kikuchi gets charged with 2 runs in 5 2/3 innings. So John, what did Ray Montgomery have to say about this interaction and comments after the game from Yusei Kikuchi?
Yeah, he said he was fine with Kikuchi expressing his frustration about what he felt was a quick hook. He said that he talked to Kikuchi after the game and said, if I'd have taken you out of the game and you weren't upset, I would be more concerned about that than being removed from the game, which you felt like you should have stayed in. So we had a conversation about it. He certainly understands where I was coming from. Those decisions can be questioned all the time. So Mike, question for you. Is this more evidence that Ray doesn't or never did have this locker room? What do you think?
I don't think he's ever had it, John. And I think that they wanted to follow him. I think they were inspired after Ron's health scare, and maybe Ray could take them forward. We talked about Ray actually chirping from the dugout and defending his players. We talked a lot about that when he first took over, and he did some of that. But I think that the proof that Ray has lost this team is in September. And I mean, this September run is terrible. They went 1-10 on the road trip. They can't beat the Rockies.
Right.
I mean, this is awful. And that's evidence of coaching. That's evidence of managing. Ray Montgomery just doesn't make good decisions. And come on, it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
What are you pulling a guy for in 5 2/3 innings? Like, why are you taking him out? You're not playing for anything. It's now individual statistics and rewards for this team. So why not let your guy, who you're paying the most money you've paid to a pitcher in Angels history to,
right?
Why not just let him finish the inning? He had 2 outs. Everything was fine. Why are you pulling him? It's not May. It's not June, Ray. Right? This is September, and you are 465 games under 500, and you're 470 games out of it, right? Like, I don't understand the thought process at all. And the fact that if he's still managing with pitch count and what the analytics say about when you should pull a pitcher or not, and all of that, Kikuchi's right. He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I thought what Ray said was appropriate in the context of the conversation, because it was very neutral, and he lowered the temperature of the situation if the temperature was high. Truth is, Kikuchi's absolutely right. You paid me to be here. Let me finish this stinking inning. Let me, it's the Rockies, for crying out loud. Let me finish this inning and let me get to the 7th inning. Let me be the ace that I am supposed to be on this team. And the fact that he pulls him in September against the worst team in baseball because they're still
it was
analytically managing. Stupid, right?
It was the Brewers, Mike.
It wasn't even the Rockies. It was the Brewers. You're absolutely right.
Brewers, because they had the lead in this game. Like, you could have walked away with a win against the best team in baseball.
Yes.
And it's immediately goes out the window. And so that's what's frustrating about this whole thing was not only would it have been a triumph for Kikuchi to get out of that inning and leave the game with a lead, I think it would have been a triumph to, hey, take one against the Brewers. And it certainly felt like they had the opportunity to do that. And, some of these games were not close, and Jose Soriano gets hurt, and so you have to make the adjustment there. Let Kikuchi play. Let him
makes
throw,
me even more
right?
frustrated because I stand corrected. You're right. It wasn't against the Rockies, it was against the Brewers. You're playing the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
Like, come on. This means nothing.
Yeah.
Let Kikuchi have this moment of flex. Let this be a moment. The dude wants to get a win for your team.
Yeah.
Don't go to Jose Fermin. What are you doing? That's just, it goes to show that Ray Montgomery is just not a managerial candidate.
I don't think he's not tuned in with what this team needs.
No.
Mike.
And if he's even on the list for consideration for next year, man, give me that list. I'm going to burn after reading. Like, it's terrible. This is just, he's awful. And I know the Angels are terrible in September, and they have been for a while, but I think Ray Montgomery has just mismanaged this team. And that's a perfect example of that against a really good team. Let him go out there and have that on under his belt and get that victory. And maybe the bullpen can hold it for him. Like that it's just silly that he pulled him. You're not playing for anything.
Right.
It's just dumb, Ray. It's just dumb.
And in the same way, it could have been a non-story in the same way that, hey, Kyle Hendricks, 7 innings strong against the Rockies. Like, what a great ending to, what could be his career, or at least his tenure with the Angels. Right. And maybe he'll get one more turnaround in this rotation. We'll see how things play out this week. But the fact is like, now this is an obvious issue. And for Yusei Kikuchi, of all people, to speak out with his frustration the way that he did, Mike, it's not the first time people have been frustrated with Ray Montgomery. Yeah. And the truth is, what we know about Kikuchi, what we've learned about him this season, is he works hard. He wanted to, help turn this franchise around and change the reputation and the narrative. That's why he signed here. That's what he said when he first got here. And so for Kikuchi to be upset, that's like, you and me, we don't get upset often, and very rarely do we rant. Yeah. But like we did last week when we were ranting, people were like, dang, thanks for the fire, guys. Thanks for saying something. Thanks for the rants. Those things stand out because when you don't rant and rave all the time, the times that you do really stand out to people. And I think that this is huge for Yusei Kikuchi to express the frustration that he did. This is more than, maybe Tyler Anderson getting a quick hook and saying, yeah, I wish I could have stayed in there, and I wish I could have, finished that inning or what have you. I don't think I've seen a statement like this from Angels starting pitching in quite some time. And so for Kikuchi to say that is super refreshing. Yeah. To me, I'm glad that he said it. Yeah.
Good for him. And I think it was a good moment for him to step into, because you are absolutely right. He is a team player. Yeah. He is going to say the right thing. He's going to do it with integrity. He's going to do it with character. He's not going to get too high, not going to get too low. Right. So for him to say this, and when he said it, he wasn't irate or frustrated in front of the media, but it was just an honest assessment of what happened. And I appreciated that. And I wonder how long he's been holding that. Because here's what happens with guys like Yusei Kikuchi, is that sometimes they're pushing it down, they're pushing it down, they're pushing it down, they're pushing it down. And I think he finally was like, what the heck are we doing? Yeah. Like, I'm supposed to be the ace here, dude. And I'm beating the best team in baseball. And you're like, let's go to the rookie. Right. Let's go get the guy that might get us out of the inning. Let me get us out of the inning. If I end up giving up another hit or walking another guy, that makes sense. But he didn't even let him go one more guy. Right. He just came out as soon as he got the second out. He came out. Yeah. Because he's following. He's got the analytic Bible in front of him.
Playbook.
Saying, this is what we should do, and we got to follow this. And even though it's September, and even though we're losing again, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. There's no gut decision making. There's no, I'm a baseball guy, let me do this. I'm talented. I know when I can make a good decision here. Hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk out there and I'm going to check on him. I'm going to Ron Washington this one. There's none of that with Ray. Ray's like, what's it say, Barry? Okay, I'm going to go out and get him. Yeah. And that's it. That's all he does.
He gets the zzz on his phone, and then he's like, oh, time to go. Time to go. Yeah, exactly. Super frustrating. But at the end of the day, I'm very appreciative of the fact that Kikuchi spoke out, because again, it's unlike him. Yeah. And it was just so refreshing as an Angel fan for finally somebody to stand up and say something.
The NFL season is here. We're already past week 3, and FanDuel is making it very interesting for you right now. New customers can bet $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets if you want to use the app, and you can use everything across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits how I like to bet, player props, building a same-game parlay, even jumping in on the action as it unfolds. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little bit more energy to Sunday. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app right now. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Again, FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
I feel, in the words of Dashboard Confessional, vindicated, right? Because we got a conversation between Jeff Fletcher and Logan O'Hoppe in the OC Register. And what O'Hoppe had to say was very interesting. And he answered the question, why was the season so bad? And he said, I completely lost my identity on the field. O'Hoppe said he allowed himself to be influenced by many people, not necessarily all within the Angels organization.
That's kind.
Who led him to try things that weren't helpful. Yeah, tell me about it, right? Logan said, it's more getting back to what I was doing that got me to this point because I got away from that past year and a half, and that's my fault. At the end of the day, that's nobody else's fault. It was my choice to do certain things a certain way or to listen to certain people the way that I did. So what did he listen to? Who did he listen to? What do you say, Mike?
One issue in the article, it said that Logan shared that he was advised to cut back on his workload because of that shoulder injury in 2023. He wanted to preserve his health. Logan said he decided to do a little bit less in taking a couple of less swings in the cage, throw a little bit less, shorten his workouts a little bit, because that was going to, quote unquote, save his body. He said, what I learned is that it did save my body. He said, I've never felt better in September as I do right now, but my mind paid the price for that more than anything. Logan said this offseason, he's getting back to how he needs to do it. He said, according to my plan is I'm going to be at my best when I do what I did before. And at my best is when I'm pushing to almost too much. I have a better understanding of how to recover now and take care of my body. And I'm looking forward to putting that into action. So Johnny, I love hearing these words from Logan O'Hoppe, but what do you think the organization hears when Logan O'Hoppe says things like he did? Do you think that they give him some pushback? Do you think that they are like, well, we surrounded you with these coaches? Should they even say anything? What are your thoughts?
I don't think they're going to say anything to him, Mike, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I just pulled this up, and, you and I have mentioned this before, but you have Sal Fasano as assistant pitching coach, former catcher. You brought in Travis d'Arnaud to help, be the backup catcher one, but then also maybe be a mentor to Logan O'Hoppe. And then you have Jerry Naron, who's the catching coach. So that's another voice in your head. You've got a batting coach and a pitching coach, and you've got an offensive coordinator and Tim Laker, right? And obviously Logan's going to be in on those conversations where they're game planning and figuring things out. And I think it just affirms and, like I said, vindicates the fact that, yeah, there's been too many voices all speaking things to Logan O'Hoppe. Keep it simple with Logan O'Hoppe. I think him saying, like, I'm going back to basics. And look, he did the very polite, I say it again, political way of saying, yeah, there was a lot of voices, but I'm the one who listened to him at the end of the day. Buddy, it's not your fault, right? Like, there was that moment early on in the season, Mike, where, remember, we were complaining about Johnny Washington and his hitting approach, and you got to end the at bat when you got to end the at bat and when you get your pitch, and it was very clear to me that Logan O'Hoppe was listening to his hitting coach because the pitch he went for was up and in, and somebody, of course, said, "That's your pitch, Logan. That's the one that you end the at bat on right there." And he went after it, even though he shouldn't have swung. I think it would have been ball 4 or something, some sort of situation like that, right? And that just goes to show that you have an impressionable young man who's respectful, he works hard, and most of all, he listens. Mm-hmm. He listens to the voices of those who are older than him, wiser than him, and have been around the game longer than him. However, it was drinking from a fire hose, in my opinion.
Right.
Because you got to learn to catch these guys. You got to learn to do things at the plate. And obviously it wasn't just a catching problem. It was,
Yeah.
At the plate as he's describing. And yeah, I can understand the need to preserve your health a little bit. It's kind of why he flamed out at the end of last season, right?
Yep.
Remember, he really ran out of steam. And so everybody said, well, yeah, maybe you don't work as hard in the cage, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, Mike, this is a respectful young man who's trying to take in the wisdom or maybe not so wise words of the people around him. It's too much. The Angels, they did too much. You're doing too much, Angels. That's my opinion on it.
John, I look back. He has about 7 years, minor league, major league experience. You know what it looks like? It's up and to the right, all the way up until this season. So what changed, John? What changed?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it's the. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how about 5 people? Well,
yes,
Logan, we'll bring in 5 people to help you out, right?
You've been getting better every year. So here's what we're gonna do: we're gonna surround you with 5 new people telling you to do 5 different things, and that's the situation. And so, Logan, you're absolutely right, bro. Listening to too many people. Thank you for your humility. Thank you for owning it.
Right.
We are, as Angel fans, we're grateful for that. Stop listening and do what you've done before. Honestly, stop listening, do what you've done before, because your defense wasn't that bad last year and your bat was better last year and you were off to a pretty good start this year offensively, and then everything fell apart. Part of that is they weren't playing him enough, right? He's not in the lineup enough. Like, the guy needs at bats. And so you're going to have this young guy, your 25-year-old cornerstone catcher, and you're going to have him in there twice a week? That's dumb. Right. That's dumb, right?
Yeah.
And that was when Wash was here. And I get it. And he was struggling, and we had the DH Trout and all. I get all the dumb excuses. You prioritize your young core. You prioritize your young core. You prioritize your young core. That needs to be the tattoo that they put across their forehead moving forward. Stop prioritizing guys that are past. It's not WWE. Let's not bring in the longtime old guys. Let's prioritize the young guys. Logan O'Hoppe, you need to do what you've been doing the last 7 years. Hit copy and paste, hit repeat. Do that. I'm excited to hear what he is going to do this offseason, and I'm excited to watch him in 2026.
Yeah, you said it's not WWE, but I disagree. I think all the drama and theatrics that come along with WWE is certainly part of this Angels organization for sure.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night until the World Series champion is crowned. You can get local analysis on a national scale, and you can find Game Night on the Locked On MLB YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, be sure you give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On Angels and at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Again, whether you're watching, listening, transmitting, just receiving, Locked On Angels in your thoughts, come over to the conversation on YouTube, find today's show, get in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you there. Mike, what do you have on deck for Wednesday's show?
You mentioned it. Will Kyle Hendricks retire at the end of the season? That's the rumor. He probably does have one more start this week. We'll see. We'll talk about if he will retire tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
All right, looking forward to that conversation. Of course, we'll have our takeaways from the Angels-Royals Game 1 that's taking place tonight. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Thanks for being here, everybody, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday.
Vindicated. I am selfish. I am wrong.
I swear